No, mấy anh. Sorry,
when they ask Sue, what do you think about pornography? I say, watch it. Go ahead, watch it. Watch as many as you like, but be careful what it does to you, because depend on what you watch, and the more you watch, you get sicker and sicker. Okay, well, what's the balance way? What's the balance way? What is con đường trung đạo? What's the middle way? What would the Buddha say if he was here? Okay. And I'd rather you watch porn and masturbate hơn là you go rape someone. Hơn là you go rape someone. Hơn là you go physically cheat and mang home bệnh truyền nhiễm, STDs and HIV. That's my view and take on it. And no one has ever challenged that. No one's ever, every time I give a teaching, number one, the whole world is watching. Number two, I haven't had anyone says, you're wrong. Because it makes sense to them. Okay? Same thing with phụ nữ. It's male and female. What if phụ nữ wants to watch pornography? What if, you know, there's very interesting cases in society, whereas husband and wife, but then the wife likes other women, but they remain married and they have open communication relationship, or they have open relationships, or they're okay. Or, you know, we got these things in society where man, husband and wife with kids, but then the man also likes other men. That exists in our society, right? And then you have swingers club, and then you have all these things out there that we have to study under this sexual disorder of sexual desire. So my take on it is, it depends on the severity. If it is an actual addiction where it affects the way how you sleep, work, relate to your family, how you function every day as an effective and efficient father, as a effective and efficient husband, if it does not affect your capacity, then it's your middle way.
Right.
I'd rather you watch porn and masturbate and do whatever you need to do. Don't bring home STD. Okay? But if it comes to the extreme point where... Who is that? I don't know who that is. So, if it gets to the extreme point, then you have to get treatment for it and stuff like that. Now, from the wife's perspective, and you know, I got to hear a lot of this. So a lot of khách come see my dad because he does immigration. So what happened in immigration office, right? People who are new to this country, people who are trying to bảo lãnh vợ and all this other stuff. So I get to watch my dad interact with other men. And you know, my dad goes, sắp bảo lãnh vợ ha, sắp có đồ chơi. That's a very comical. It's true, it's real, it's realistic. Yeah. I mean, what do people do? They get married, they fall in love, they have a lot of sex. You know, it's fun to giggle about, right? And then there's also bà lớn bà nhỏ cục cưng. That exists in our society. Is it okay? No, probably not. But eventually our culture get used to that. And the cái bà lớn, they just look the other way. They're like, he is who he is. But I love him. But he loves me. I know he loves me. He has his fun, but he always come home. Cái điều đó, we've also heard in society. Thus I have heard. Yeah, same thing Đức Phật dạy. Thus I have heard. Evo me sutang. So what happens now with the modern day wife? The modern day wife phải biết nhiều, hiểu rộng để thông cảm cho chồng mình. Và nhiều điều mình cần phải biết. What do we need to know as wife? And still have to take an impartial, unbiased, undiscrimination standpoint. Và không có binh chồng, và không có binh... Because I'm male, you know, sometimes wife think sư binh chồng tôi tại vì sư cũng là male. Not the case. It goes both ways for male and female. Nhất là đàn ông khi ngồi văn phòng nhiều. Nhất là đàn ông á, khi mà họ dùng cái bộ não của họ nhiều. They are more prone to stress. Very high level of stress. Có hai loại stress, một cái lao động, một cái bộ não, tâm, right? When they have this type of stress, a certain part of their brain, hình như cái bộ phận amygdala với lại prefrontal cortex ở trước này nè, ở chính giữa cái bộ não, it triggers hormones where they have perhaps erection, or more prone to be more horny, or more prone to feel the need to relax themselves by watching porn and masturbate to release a chemical release of the brain. The wife needs to understand that. Any woman needs to understand why men do the things that they do. Then the woman is a judge at that moment where mình có thông cảm được hay không? Are you able to excuse that behavior? Is that behavior acceptable to you? Or do you take it so personal and you have to question why you take it so personal based on your belief, your value, your self-worth, your self-concept, your self-esteem? That has, if it touches your self-esteem, worth, value, concept, you have to investigate that. And you have to ask yourself, is that fair to your husband? That the fact that he doesn't go out to drink, he doesn't use illegal drugs, you have to compare your husband with what is going on in society, the devil in society, the evil in society. Cái thứ mà ma quỷ quỷ quái ở ngoài xã hội của mình đó, that your husband not engaged in. Is it acceptable to you? So phụ nữ, you have a lot of powers. And one of that power is you are a judge in the home. How do you judge your husband? I'm a phụ nữ khôn ngoan, which is a wise wife, an understanding wife, a loving wife. Number one, understanding wife. Hiểu sâu, deep understanding, is you have this dialogue between each other. And when I teach key precept, number 4, under sexual misconduct, and most Venerable Jayasaro have already said the same thing. I got it from him, actually, where he says, in regards to sexual misconduct, how husband should talk to wife and how wife should talk to husband is, honey, I love you. You know that I love you. You know everything. But you need to also know that I love you, but I also have these fantasies. I have these fantasies where I look at other women. I have fantasies of perhaps even wanting to have sex with them. But I promise you, I would never act on it. And that is very real to me when Venerable Jayasaro explained that publicly on YouTube. He is considered his holiness in Thailand. So my expectation for wife, because in this case it's the wife, but it can be exchanged, you know, if he had the same concern for you, then I would say expectation for husband. I don't discriminate on sexes. Is that chị phải đọc sách nhiều về lịch sử để hiểu lý do đàn ông, cái tánh họ như thế nào, cái nature họ như thế nào. And technically he's really not doing that much of a harm that you think he is. He's not a killer. He's not a rapist. We just had a rapist. We had this guy up in the state of Maine that was married, had kids, came home to his wife. He killed like 20 women on the beach of Maine and came home. He got away with it for 15 years. He just got arrested. That date you have to worry about. That is some shit going on in our society. You have to ask, is my husband like that? Will he ever become that? You know? And the other thing is, even if your husband want to become that, the kids would catch it. You have 3 intelligent kids, they're like detectives. They are like detectives. He could only get away with so much.
And I think one time that you caught my mistake like this, and then you assume that the whole time that I spent in the restroom was just for that. Now you ask a lot of questions on why a lot of movies. Em nhớ không, có nhiều cái movie anh mà nói, ủa tại sao anh coi phim này rồi mà em chưa coi vậy, mà anh coi với người khác, hay là em nói, no, I watch in the freaking bathroom by myself because that's where I can watch the movie freely. my time, my private, my retreat time. Bởi vậy em mới hỏi tại sao mà anh coi nhiều phim mà em đã chưa từng coi, trong đó mình sống với nhau 20 mấy năm, lúc nhà nào cũng together, mà hỏi tại sao mà anh coi nhiều movie mà em chưa coi tới. Now that's part of the answer. You know, it's not like I spend an hour in the bathroom just to masturbate and watching porn. No.
So you know, like I think,
You know what? Sorry.
I think, you know, like both sides have to think about this and really have open communication in regards to your tendency and your fantasy. Everyone have fantasy, and you know what? Enjoy your fantasy now before you really have erectile dysfunction and menopause. Like you two supposed to talk this through and have intimacy and have a lot of sex. Why? Why have a lot of sex and sleep naked together? You should sleep naked together. Why? I'm telling this in front of the whole world. Because you're gonna live long.
Yes.
Because you live long, you have less health problem, less mental problem, less physical problem. You know what I mean? You're supposed to have open communication.
Right. Rồi anh hỏi em lần nữa nè, sao? Have I ever failed trong cái chuyện chăn gối với em không? Phải không? Ever.
And then just go live stream.
Yeah, I know. If I'm such an addict to pornography, I won't be able to, you know, or have I failed acting like a father or raising, you know, I want to spend an hour in there so that